Hello and welcome to the another lecture. And today we'll be discussing one more bone, and this bone we'll be discussing is the sternum, also known as the breastbone. So if you look out in front of you, you can see this is the rib cage, and the rib cage has the boundaries. One of the lateral boundaries will be formed by the ribs. The dorsal boundary will be formed by the thoracic vertebra, and on the ventral aspect, you have this bone having so many segments, what we call as the breastbone or called as a sternum. So we'll be taking this bone as separately and see the differences, see how this bone is formed and what is how it is different in the different animals. So this bone basically is the osteocartilaginous structure. So you can see this is a separate sternum. So this is the osteocartilaginous structure. That means there will be the involvement of the cartilage also. So if you see here between these two parts of the sternum segments, there will be the part of the cartilage also. That's why it is called as osteocartilaginous bone. So and this bone is basically placed on the medial aspect of the body, and the direction, if you see in this rib cage also, the direction of this sternum is basically directed caudally, ventrally and caudally, obliquely, ventrally and caudally is basically placed it is. And this bone in the adult stage of the life usually, although it is having the cartilaginous part also, it will get ossified and it will form the synchondrosis. And in case of ox, so in front of you this is the sternum of the ox, and in case of ox, this sternum will be having the two surfaces. One of the surface will be this will be the dorsal surface, that means this will be towards the thoracic cavity, and one will be on the ventral aspect, so this will be the dorsal surface, then this will be the ventral surface. Then it will be having the two borders, so one of the border will be this one and the other is this one. Then it will be having the two extremities. One will be towards the cranial side, this is you call as a cranial extremity, and one will be on the caudal aspect, you call as a caudal extremity. Now this sternum, basically you have the attachment of the muscles, you have the attachment of the pectoral muscles, and you have the attachment of one of the very important abdominal muscle to this sternum, that is the rectus abdominis muscle. And if you see the borders, because to these borders there will be the attachment of the ribs, you will have the notches here, what you call as the costal notches, because here the ribs will be attached through their costal cartilage here. So these will be 18 number, and in case of ox, these segments, what you call as stenbrae, also will be 7 in number. If you count 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7, 7 stenbrae will be present, or 7 segments will be present in that will be forming this sternum in case of ox. So the cranial segment, so this will be the cranial segment in here, also known as the cranial extremity, also known as the manubrium sterni, and the other name is also known as a presternum. So this is also known as a presternum, and to this presternum usually there will be the attachment of the sternosphalicus and sternothyrohyoidicus muscle. So on this presternum there will be the attachment of the muscles, and the first pair of the ribs will be also attached to these costal notches also. So costal notch here there will be attachment of the first pair of the ribs, and there will be the attachment of the sternosphalicus and sternothyrohyoidicus muscle. Now from second to sixth, so from second to sixth, you will have the intersternal junctions. Usually you have intersternal junctions, and the seventh you can call as the metasternum. So you have presternum, you have metasternum, and you have the intersternal junctions from second to sixth. Now in case of horse, in case of pig, in case of dog, you will have one cartilage here at the presternum. So that is only present in case of these horse, pig and dog, while it is absent in case of ox, it is absent. And in case of horse, that will see in the later stages, there will be the presence of the keel, also what you call a sternal crest will be also, because the horse sternum is like that of a ship, that will be seen when go for the comparative. So here in the presternum you will have the first pair of the ribs, and you will have the attachment of the two important muscles, sternothyrohyoidicus and sternosphalicus, but the cartilage that is usually present in case of pig, horse and dog is absent in case of ox. While in case of the caudal, so this is the last sternum or the last segment, and this is called as a caudal extremity. So this is called as a caudal extremity here, this one, and this is also called as a metasternum. And metasternum has a this segment has xiphoid process and xiphoid cartilage. So this is a xiphoid process here. So this one is a xiphoid process, and to this attached is the xiphoid cartilage. And usually this xiphoid cartilage is very flexible, and it is very narrow in case of dog, but in case of ox, because this is a broken here, otherwise the other piece is here, it is very broad in case of ox and in case of the horse. So you have presternum, you have interstitial junctions, also known as the, here you have interstitial junctions, and you have the metasternum here. In case of sheep goat, the only difference you can find in the number of the segments or number of the sternae. Usually in case of sheep goat, number of the sternae usually is 6 in number. The horse, if you see, this is the sternum of the horse, totally different from that of ox, and the number of the segments involved are 7 in number, and this looks like a boat. So this looks like a boat shaped sternum in case of horse, because it will be having 3 surfaces. This is the dorsal surface and 2 lateral surfaces. So one surface will be here, one surface will be here, and this will be the dorsal surface. Because of the 3 surfaces, then 3 borders, one of the border will 2 borders will be on the dorsal aspect. One is this one dorsal border, other dorsal border is this. Then it will having here a very sharp border here, that will be on the ventral aspect. Because of this structure, it will give the appearance of the boat. It will be having again 2 extremities. This extremity will be on the cranial aspect, so this is called the cranial extremity, and this extremity will be on the caudal extremity. So this cranial extremity is known as a manubrium sterni also. And in case of horse, what I told you, that there is the presence of this cartilage in case of the horse, and this cartilage here is called as manubrium cartilage, is also called as a carniform cartilage. Carniform cartilage for the is present in case of horse, and this carniform cartilage presents a deep notch, here, and to these deep notches will be attachment of 2. You can see there are the 2 depressions for the attachment of the first pair of the ribs. So carniform cartilage having the deep notch here for the first pair of the ribs. Then in case of the dog, there will be the 8 sternae. In case of pig, there will be 6 sternae, and in case of the rabbit, also there will be the 6 sternae. This is the rabbit thoracic cavity, and this is the sternum. So there will be the 6 sternae in case of rabbit, and you will have here again, so this is the caudal extremity or the caudal sternae, and you will have here then the cartilage. You will be have the xiphoid process, then xiphoid cartilage in case of rabbit also. In case of the fowl, you will have the sternum, also known as the keel bone, that is different from that of the rest of the animals, because this sternum is totally made up of the bony part. There is no involvement of the cartilage here. And you will have at the crane, because this sternum will be placed like this in case of the fowl, and in the cranial aspect you will have the articular area. As you can see here, there is an articular area here, and that is for the coracoid bone. Here also the coracoid bone is attached to this. So this here, the coracoid bone we have removed in order to show you that articular area. Here the coracoid bone is attached. Then here on the cranial border, so on the cranial border you will have the depressions again, articular facets again for the ribs. And usually this whole of the sternum in case of the fowl is made up of the 5 segments of the bones. So this was about the different sternums in the different animals, how they are different, having the keel, having the boat shaped, in case 3 surface, in case of horse 2 surface, in case of ox and sheep, and then in case of this poultry, you will have like that of totally made up of this of the bone. Thank you.